Welcome to Behind the Sale. I'm your host, Princess B. On this show, we talk about sales and leadership in the high ticket space. My goal is to help you level up your skills as a leader so you can close more deals and transform more lives. Today, we have Kenneth Luu on the show. Kenneth is a good friend of mine I met back in April of last year, back when I was a little shell of a human, a little terrified, scared little chicken. And even then, before we've both become like the 2.0 versions of ourselves, like I still looked up to him like, wow, this guy, like he's on another level. And today he inspires me with his content. He honestly, like, the thing that inspires me the most is the fact that he is just unapologetically himself. He just turns on the camera, spits fire, eats his fruit, and doesn't care what anyone has to say about it. And I love it. I love to talk to people who've had quite the transformation in their career because that's what it's all about. Like, people always ask, how do you reach that next level? What are you doing? What is the secret sauce? And it's like, it's all the little things, it's all the inner work things, it's the things that a lot of people are overlooking, some things that I'm even avoiding, which we'll talk about. So, if you want to learn how to level up your skills, how to level up as a person, so that way you can be the person who can actually lead people the way they need to be led, so you can make more money and transform more lives, then stay tuned. Thank you so much for coming on, Kenneth.
100%. I appreciate you having me on, Princess.
So, first of all, like you just got back from 30 days in Colombia with the Nomadic Closer House, right?
Yeah.
So, I need to know, how was that experience? Share the deets.
Yeah, 100%. Well, first things first, it's definitely the two words that I can describe the experience was it was absolutely life-changing. It's just two best words I can put it together. Just a lot of a whole different experience, a whole like new environment, the people that you're with, the activities that we've done, all of the lessons that we've learned. Like there's just being here at home all the time, like in the closing space. It's just like, you're working at home in your own room, same routine, same work schedule, same restaurants that you go to, same place that you live. So just being able to break out of that and be able to experience something different was very, very eye-opening and also very, very grateful to be able to have that experience.
Something I'm really curious about is, how was it actually working while you were there? Like, did you notice a difference in your sales?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I'll be honest, it was actually a little bit slower when I was there with between across all of my offers that I'm on. So it was a little bit slower, but in terms of actually working there, the first week it did take couple of days for me to get acclimated with everything and just get used to everything because everything was different. Even the little things that we don't think about when we're traveling, for me, I had to get used to, like different food, different shower, different bed, like all these little things that take up like mental capacity in your head. Because usually when you're at home, it's like, okay, like this is here, this is there. You don't really have to think. All I have to do is think about sales. So it did take a couple of days to kind of get used to things. But other than that, like once you get dialed down, like it's very, very rewarding.
I'm curious, did you stick with your routines though? Like, once you got acclimated, did you have the same morning routine? Did you still cold plunge every day? Like, how did that go?
I wanted to. I actually wanted to. There was a pool outside of our place, and we were trying to do it every morning, but then it was not cold enough, so then I couldn't do that. And then I also did I do red light therapy as part of my morning routine, and that's something I couldn't do as well. But it was a little bit different too, because we're working out at the gym like first thing in the morning. I usually do in the afternoon, so there was a little bit of a change in terms of a morning routine that I had to adapt and change for sure.
Okay, but overall, do you feel like, I mean, when I first like discovered Nomadic Closer, I was always curious about, how is this going to actually shift the way that you show up on your calls? So being in a new environment, having these new experiences daily, it seemed like, did it affect how you showed up on your calls?
100%. I would say also like sometimes when you don't show up with the right energy, during the day or on your calls, but just naturally being surrounded with a lot of people who are very positive, who do have that high frequency, high vibration of energy, like it rubs off on you, right? Because you are who you surround yourself with. And on top of that, it's like if you don't show up on your call the way that you should be, I would say it's very easy to be able to adjust because then you can speak to other people who are closers as well. Like, oh, this just happened on my call. Um, like, what could I have done better? Like,
Mm.
we had Joel, Adam, Harlan, where if we've wrapped up a call, they could literally be in the house with us and we can have our call reviewed right away. Right. So then we can
Okay.
make those adjustments to be able to show up the way that we should be in the way that we need to.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's a really unique experience. Would you do something like that again?
100%. It was actually funny because we were there and then like all of the group of the guys were like just planning to do it again. They were just planning like another place, another country, another place, get another villa and do that again. It's honestly one of the it's one of the best experience I've ever experienced in my life.
Wow.
It's up there for sure. I would say it's probably up there as number one. Just because just being surrounded with like the right people, and then so many things that we did for the first time, and it was just different. Being able to experience like a different kind of environment and perspective in life.
Okay. That's amazing. Hashtag not sponsored, right?
Uh,
That's cool. Okay, first give a little bit of a backstory of like how you got started in the high ticket space, how long it's
yeah.
been, and then I'm curious about what the highest high was for you in your career and the lowest low.
Yeah. Um, so I got started in the high ticket space back in 2022, 2 years ago, 2 years and 3 months, back in March 2022. And the reason why I got started in high ticket space is because my brother was closing. And at the time I was day trading. As you know, I was day trading and I wasn't making any money at all. And I was doing that for 4 years when I came out of high school. And I was just like losing money left, right, and center while I was working like a part-time job. So then at some point I was okay, like things have to change. I don't think I should be doing this anymore. My brother was making like 10, 15K a month. So I was like, okay, let me do this. Like, let me give this a shot. So the whole goal was to get into the high ticket space and then just copy exactly what my brother was doing. And then easily I'd be able to replicate that. But little did I know that that wasn't going to be the case. There's
Mm,
this quote that says like, man plans, God laughs,
yep.
right? So like we always think something's going to go a certain way, but then there's always a different route or different obstacles that will come our way. So that was actually my lowest low was when I first got started in the high ticket space because I remember very clearly for 4 months I didn't make a single sale.
Wow.
And I had, bills coming up, rent, expenses, bills, and I remember it got to a point where I was so restricted financially, like I couldn't even go out and eat and pay for my own food. I had to have my brother spot me
Hmm.
because I didn't make any income at all. And on top of that, like just no income. And on top of that, I had so many expenses as well.
Mm. Was all of this on one offer or like were you kind of hopping at this time?
This was all on one offer.
Wow. That's pretty cool of them to even like keep you on that long without making any sales.
And the only reason why was because my brother was making money. So
Oh, he
me and
was on the
my brother,
offer.
we were on the same offer.
Okay.
Yeah, that was why. So like I sucked so bad. I was so bad. And there was yeah, the only reason why they kept me on because my brother was doing well on the offer. And then after like he was bringing in all the money, so then after they're like, okay, well like we'll just keep him around because he could have potential.
Wow. He kind of like saved your ass there because I think any other offer would have been like goodbye, like after a
Yeah,
month.
100%. Like
Yeah.
even after a few weeks, a month, like goodbye, 100%.
Jeez. So, what is it that shifted that changed the game for you and helped you to start making money?
Bill.
Mm.
Bill, I think Bill. Actually, I would say even before Bill, I started to turn things around a little bit. I remember it came to a point where it was so bad where they're like, okay, like we're gonna give you 2 more weeks of calls, and if, because at the time I was using the NEPQ framework process, and they're like, okay, like you've been doing this for 4 months with NEPQ and it's not working. We're gonna give you 2 more weeks. If you don't close a deal, or no, we're gonna give you 1 more week. If you don't close a deal, then we want you to use our process, or goodbye.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, um, let me let me try to fucking make this like last week, like pull off this like Hail Mary. So then on that week, I ended up closing a deal, and then I was like, okay, perfect. Like let me continue to keep doing my process because I believed in what I was doing so much, even though I wasn't getting any results. So then it started to pick up. I still wasn't making like crazy income. It was like 3, 5, 7K a month. Then I had a conversation with Bill, and then Bill was like, "Yeah, but like you're still not making the money that you want, are you?" I'm like, "No, but I feel like I'm going on an upwards trajectory." It's like, "Yeah, but like I can take you to the next level." And then so then I got started with Bill's program. This was like in 2023, and then things started to slowly change because I started to develop the skill set, and then from there it started to become more upwards. But funny enough, I actually did Bill's program, but my commissions didn't reflect that. I felt better. I felt more confident. I felt like I was getting more skilled, full, but my commissions were not reflecting that
Why did you have so much faith in your process before when you weren't even getting results? Like, I'm stuck on that.
because I've seen other people use that process and they're making 15, $20,000 a month.
Okay.
So I was like,
Okay.
this works. I've seen it work before.
Is that, and you're referring to NEPQ, right? When you, that first process?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. And did you carry that same, like, I guess, faith in the process when you started training with Bill, even though your commissions weren't reflecting it yet?
No, then it started to change.
Mm.
Because then Bill's like, no, stay away from that.
Oh, okay.
He was like, stay. He's like, I don't like it. I remember the first call I showed him, and he was like, yeah, I don't like it. Stay away from that. It's too nice. It's too this. It's too this. Like, stay away from that. And then the reason why, like, I like Bill was because he had that like firm, like we need like challenge people, firm, stern when you need to be right, and that was something that I was missing on the calls. So then he had that, and I was like, okay, cool. But then when he started teaching like Bill's process, then I started to kind of stay away. Like NEPQ wasn't the gospel anymore. Then it was like North Star Future Pays consequence.
You took ownership of your performance, right? Like when it came to your skill set and the mindset stuff too. So I guess what are the top two things that you do to take extreme ownership of that?
Yeah, like like what I've done to get to a position where I am now.
Hmm.
Number one definitely is investing into the right people and the right mentors, people who are exactly like where you want to be. I have never been afraid to invest in myself and pour money even when I didn't have it. So that's the number one thing. But I would say also the second thing was doing a lot of inner work. Because getting into sales, I realized how much of like it's not really just a skill thing, but it's also like a character development thing.
Hmm. That's that next level. That's like level, I don't know, two or three, whatever you want to call it. But it's like there's, okay, you can handle objections, you could do the skill set stuff, but then the 2.0 version of you is actually being that person who can lead the person regardless of like the prospect, regardless of how they show
Yeah,
up, right? So I was watching some other podcasts that you've done and you talk about how you meditate, right?
yeah,
That's something that I'm like resistant to doing. Like I've done a few times, but I'm just like, meh, like I don't know. And it clearly it's made a difference for you. So, I mean,
yeah,
what advice do you have for people who are resistant to
yeah.
meditation?
It's funny that you say that because I was literally watching a video about meditation and law of attraction before we jumped on here. I was literally watching Elon Musk was describing like the law of attraction. Um, but I was also resistant to it too at one point. I remember I was doing meditation and I was like, I don't think I'm doing it right. My brain's just always thinking and then like it's always going into like different tangents, yada yada yada. So I always felt that too. But I would say definitely like it's helped me a lot for sure. And if you're resistant to it, say give it another shot. Give it another round of it's something that, and because it's hard to do and because it's uncomfortable, is the exact reason why I feel like we should be doing it.
What would be like, how do I don't even know where to start. Like there's so many different meditations like you can listen to.
Yeah.
There's guided stuff. There's some people say just focus on your breathing and close your eyes. And it's just like if I do that, like when I do that, I just my mind wanders. And so I'm like, okay, this is unproductive. So
Yeah.
I don't like how do I do it?
Yeah. So you're right. There's so many different kinds of meditations, and then it just depends on like what kind of meditation that you want to do. And that's one thing that I realize is the mind does wander, and we are supposed to think, right? The only time we're not thinking is when we're dead. We even think when we're sleeping, hence our dreams,
Hmm.
right? So that's actually a form of meditation itself too, is letting your mind wander. Sometimes I just lie down and then I let my mind wander. So that's where like the creative ideas come in. That's where like, like, oh, I should say this when this objection comes up, when this happens, or these are the kind of content or videos that I want to make. And then it just comes into your mind. And then there's like different forms of meditation where there's gratitude meditation, where you practice gratitude. There's abundance meditation, where everything is abundant to you. And for me, it's just one thing that when we go back to character development, for me, sales used to always be like, okay, what do I need to say next? What do I need to do? Like everything is very logical. But meditation allowed me to kind of tap into the feeling of the feeling. Like I've been doing this is something that we're learning in a nomadic closer house as well. Where there's a couple of speakers that are talking to like they're talking to us. They're like, there's a lot of like overachievers. We always think about like, okay, what do we need to do? What's the next practical step? Right? Like, but the question is sometimes it's like, what do we need to feel? And feeling is healing, and it's something that like girls are a lot better than doing that than guys. Like that's
Yeah.
why like girls, they feel like something bad happens, they would cry and then they're over it, right? Because they can feel that and then they're healed. But guys, like they don't do that as well. And so that's
Hmm.
something that I learned as well. So like that's another form of meditation, is literally just body scanning. How do you feel? What kind of tensions do you feel in your body? It's like so many forms of meditation. And then there's visualization and manifestation as well, which is one of my favorites.
Okay. So okay, so visualization, you're visualizing, is it basically like a mental vision board of all the things
Pretty
that you,
much.
okay.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. And so it's like a mental vision board, exactly. That's like the best way to put it.
Woo!
Um, and
Okay.
it's like you're training that muscle every single day. It's like going to the gym, but you're training your mental mind. Right.
Mm,
And so there's such it's so hard to like articulate how you do it too, because one thing I learned too is you don't want to like force yourself and force these like the mental vision board in your head. You want to relax and like let it flow. And like that's meditation really just allows you to connect with your inner self.
mm. Okay. So in connecting with your inner self, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned?
With connecting with your inner self, like you can't connect with other people until you can connect with yourself.
Mm,
And by connecting with yourself and being able like we also learn like in a nomadic closer house, like you can't love other people and connect with other people if you don't love and connect with yourself.
hmm.
So then that's where I learned the importance of being able to connect back with your inner self, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Okay, yeah. So this ties into like, let's say if someone is not doing the deeper work, they're not connecting with themselves, they have all these negative things, this negative self-talk, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not in alignment with who they actually want to be, they're not behaving like that person. Then when they get on a sales call, that's why they struggle to challenge a prospect. Like they're saying all
Right.
the right lines, but the prospect's like, yeah, 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 I get what you're saying, but they're not really actually like speaking to that person's heart. And it's probably because they're not they're not they're not connecting with themselves, so they don't have it in them to actually show up for the other person because they're not showing up for themselves, right?
100%.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I get
100%.
I get people always like, when I post wins and stuff, they'll DM me and be like, what? Like, I had someone message me, what magic are you doing? And I'm
Yeah,
like, and it's the deeper work. Like, that's all it is that's made the difference. The frameworks haven't changed. I've been working with Bill since last year as well. Like, and so none of that changed. It's the inner work stuff that has allowed me to actually make more money using the same framework, selling the same stuff. Isn't it crazy?
it is 100%. Yeah.
It's
That's
bananas.
Yeah, it's like you can learn all the word tracks and everything, but then if it comes from up here from your head, but it doesn't come from your heart, like there's a big difference. Like you can feel when someone speaks and the intentionality and like the intentions behind what they say, and it comes from the heart. Like it is crazy.
If you could go back to Kenneth, who just started 2 years ago, what would you tell him?
I think I would tell myself to not be so hard on myself in the beginning. That's definitely a lesson that I've learned. I think over the past month while being in Colombia as well was to be more acknowledging yourself and
Mm,
giving yourself that self love. Like as overachievers, what we always tend to focus on is, oh, I could have done this. I could have made more, or I could have done this. I could have closed this deal. Instead of closing 4 deals today, I could have closed five.
mm,
Right. So like I kind of had that mindset. I always like, yeah, I did this, but like I didn't do this. But just being able to acknowledge myself and like, hey, you didn't get this, but like, you're making good progress, and then use that to fuel back the fire. That's something that I would say is not to be so hard on myself. And then number two, like more of a practical thing, is always make sure that you have two offers at least, have multiple offers, because I've literally been sitting like there's been times where I was on one offer and I was like sitting on my hands and like not doing anything. So like more of a practical thing, always make sure that you're hunting before you even need to hunt.
yes, I would
Yeah.
tell Princess, who started 2 years ago, the same exact thing, because you never know when shit's gonna hit the fan, and it's like, whoops, we just switched up all our marketing overnight. So yeah, things
Yeah.
happen. Yeah. Okay.
100%. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a weird one. What's a question that you wish people would ask you when you come on as a guest on podcasts?
Oh, that's a really good question. Um, what's a question that I would want someone to ask me? I think it is it's what you've asked me actually. What do I feel like is the biggest change? And the reason why I want someone to ask me that is because I want to be able to share, what's really changed and worked for me. Because I remember like 2 years ago, um, like I really just wanted someone that can help me get to that next level. But then I always felt like something was missing. So that would be like that question, like what was the biggest change for you, and
Mm.
how did you make that change?
Is there anything that made a big difference for you that you're gatekeeping?
Big difference. I mean, I don't like to gatekeep anything, but I would say just for the funsies, we also did we did mushrooms in Colombia.
Okay, that's the secret. Oh my gosh.
We also
Wow.
did, yeah, we did shrooms and we went on a hike, and that was like my favorite experience because that helped me allowed me to tap into my realizations, and realize what my fears were as well.
Mm. What are your fears?
So when we did the shrooms, the biggest fear that I had was a fear of abandonment.
Mm.
So being afraid of being left behind, and that probably comes from like childhood trauma of like childhood being abandoned when you're a kid. I realized that we were doing the shrooms because we were hiking, and then I remember I just kept telling myself in my head like the group was leaving, and I was like, oh shit, I don't want to get left behind. I don't want to get left behind. And we were on some shrooms, so like you feel everything 10 times.
Yeah.
Have you done it before?
I have not. I really want to. I was actually talking to a friend about this yesterday. We were talking about doing ayahuasca specifically, to
Yeah,
improve, like to just unlock that next level because I feel like there's no end to the deep work. There's no point where you're like, all
there
right,
is
I've
no
done it all. I know myself. It's like there's always so much more deep down.
100%. You need to go to Colombia. I
Okay.
think I think you should go to Colombia. Because they were doing, there was a lot of people that were talking about ayahuasca too, and that's actually what I wanted to do as well. Because that's like the pinnacle, like the highest form. Because like, I mean, like I don't see these as like recreational drugs. It's more like spiritual and tapping into your
Yeah.
inner self. So
Hmm.
it's like, yeah, that's like the pinnacle. But like Colombia is gonna be the spot to do all of it.
I'm doing deep work in another way, without the use of plants.
Uh-huh.
And I think that plant medicine is only going to enhance that. And I'm so excited. I want to do that soon. I'm actually planning a trip at the end of this month
Yeah.
to hopefully do it. I'm almost afraid of what's going to come out. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I guess, which makes sense. And the best way Joel told me, he was like, just don't expect anything, and then whatever comes out, just let it be and let it go.
Mm,
Like, don't try to fight it, don't try to resist it, because that's when you get into trouble,
hmm.
right? It's like trying to put a beach ball underneath the water, and then what's gonna
Yeah.
happen? It's just gonna like explode, like it's gonna burst out,
Okay.
right? So he was like, just let it go, like don't just let it go, let it be, and then whatever you feel is what you feel.
Are you afraid of the 2.0 version of yourself, or let's say 3.0 version? Like, are you afraid of him?
Afraid in what way?
Like, he's so unrecognizable that you're just like afraid to become that.
Not really. I wouldn't say no, I wouldn't say afraid.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
feel? Do you feel like
I
sometimes?
do. I do sometimes. Because, like, right now, I'm already unrecognizable, like, comparing myself to who I was last year. And
Yeah.
it's like, damn, like, that's scary because it's like, what's next? Who am I going to be next year? Like,
Yeah.
it's weird
What do you feel like you're afraid of though?
what that means, what it means, because what it has meant so far is that I lose friends and
Uh,
I'm more private, and like most people in my life like don't know um how much I make or even really what I do. Like my dad
yeah.
thinks I scam people on the internet. But that's fine, it's okay, whatever. That's what I'm scared of because I'm already like more isolated. And so I feel like the different versions of myself, like I just feel like it'll only get worse from here. But of course there's upside to that too.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, there's more sacrifices that you have to make the higher you get. But I guess
Yeah,
that's the trade-off. It's actually something I've never
it
thought
is.
about. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, but it's like I need to focus on the positive. I need to do more, I think, mental vision boarding. That's a phrase I'm coining now. I need to do more visualization so that way rather than fear the downside, I can focus on the upside.
Yeah, 100%. Because naturally, what I also learned is like naturally we're negative as human beings.
Yeah.
Like we're wired to think negatively naturally. And also we're not wired for success, we're actually wired for survival.
Mm. Mm. That's a bar, Kenneth.
Yeah. Like that's why we have fears. That's why like you go to the balcony, you're on the 50th floor, you have fear, and then like you get the butterflies because that's naturally like saying like get the fuck back. We need to survive, you need to live, right?
Mm. That
But then
makes
now,
so much sense.
yeah, I know that's crazy. I learned that and I was like that makes sense.
Yeah, and that kind of I think that explains why I'm a little scared of like becoming a different version because survival, like we're not wired to like change in that way. Like when if you think back to like the caveman times, we're not wired to become a different version of ourselves, a different person. We're just wired to like be able to fight off the bears and lions or whatever. Um, there's no there's no act when you think of like primal survival, I guess there's no reason to grow and develop up here.
Yeah.
So it's like scary. That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But society has evolved, but then like how we're wired is still the same.
Yeah.
So that's why like most people aren't like most people aren't successful and they don't achieve, they don't overachieve because we're not naturally wired that way.
And that's why we have to do so much extra stuff to intentionally like grow with the
Yeah.
times, literally.
Yeah.
Grow and develop with the times. That's why we do things like plant medicine and therapy and like deep work and training and coaching and all these things. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you just like solved life.
Yeah.
Low key. That's crazy. It's like all these little things, these little like light bulb moments that I love having when I talk to people like you who who've like, have reached new levels because there's always something new to take. I want to roll into my rapid fire question segment, okay?
Yeah,
So I ask you things, you answer with the first thing that comes to mind. All right.
let's do it.
So, aside from your fear of abandonment, what is your biggest fear in life?
Not being successful.
Mm. What is successful to you?
Being able to achieve my goals. So, rapid fire, we did a wheel of life, and there's like romance, environment, career. I want to be able to, have that all as like a 10 out of 10. So, for me, just filling all those buckets, not
Okay.
dying poor, because I
Mm.
was born poor. So, I was like, I don't want to die poor. At least I'm going to die trying.
What's a question that you would want to ask your future self? Let's say Kenneth in 10 years.
Oh, rapid fire too. What is something I want to ask myself in 10 years? Um, am I fulfilled?
Mm. That's
Am I
good.
am I fulfilled?
That's really good. What if he says no? Like, what do you even do at that point?
Maybe it's still a journey. I mean, I personally believe for as long as you're living, everything is always fleeting. There's always something to do. There's always something to work towards. Like you said, right? It's literally learning that deep work. It's a never-ending journey. It's always a journey. Like even 2 years from now, you realize how much deeper that you can connect with yourself.
Mm.
And it's like for as long as you're living, there's always something that you can learn and do. Um, so maybe I'll be fulfilled when I'm 70, 80, when I don't have energy to do anything. But yeah, I wouldn't even ask myself if I'm happy because I don't believe in like just being happy. I believe in just fulfillment.
Hmm.
Um, can I go on an off tangent if that's okay?
Yes. Yeah.
So the reason why I say happy, I actually wanted to make a video about this, a reel. Um, but we learned something that was really, really, really cool. I wanted to share with whoever's watching this. Is that most people who live life, everybody wants to be happy, right? But what I've learned is not just to be happy, but to embrace the whole spectrum of human emotion.
Mm.
Because if you want to just be happy all the time, then it's like playing a piano and you're just hitting that one note, like ding, 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 ding. But in life, you want to play like the whole freaking piano, like the whole Mozart. And
Hmm.
if you think about it too, if you always want to be happy, subconsciously, you're telling yourself that you're not happy right now. So you continue to keep chasing happiness.
Mm.
But if you're able to embrace the whole spectrum of human emotions, then automatically you put yourself in a more happier position because you're able to embrace and accept whatever comes.
Absolutely. And then the happy times are even happier because you had sad times and you
Yes,
felt lonely and depressed and angry and just frustrated at where you are in life and all the things. We need all of it.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You need all of it because how would you even know what happiness feels like if you've never been sad?
exactly. Yeah.
It's like the Barbie movie, the first 5 minutes, everything's like just a perfect world.
Yeah. That's a great example. What's what's an unpopular opinion that you have about the high ticket space?
I would say unpopular. I don't know if it's popular or unpopular, but I would definitely say high ticket space. It's more of a character development game more than an actual skill set.
Ooh, poetic snaps.
Yeah, it's
That's what
more.
I'm trying to like. Thank you for putting the words to it. Like, this is what I want people to get. It really is about character development. Anyone can learn a script, like, that's easy stuff. But the people who
Yeah,
actually are successful, who make good money, they do the character development stuff. All right.
yeah,
To everybody who DMs me going, what is the secret? It's one, of course, learning the skills, but then becoming the person. It's the character. And there's levels to it. You're never done, ever. Like when
yeah,
you see big people in the space, they're still working on themselves. The Bill
yeah.
Walshes, the Josh Lyons, like they're all still doing inner work, you know? And
100%.
it's like that's the only way they're able to like help other people to do it. It's like they have to keep going. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. You know what would be cool? I thought about this like yesterday. Like maybe people sometimes ask me like, do you want to create a high ticket offer? And I'm like, maybe I'll create an offer where we just like go to the jungle somewhere in like Costa Rica or something
Yeah.
and like use plant medicine, but also just like work, just do in deep work for like 2 weeks or a month or something. I'm just gonna like do like nomadic closer 2.0 for women. I don't know. I'm just making shit
Yeah.
up on the spot, but
No,
um
that's a good idea. You can do one for women
yeah.
because that one was like all guys, but
Yeah,
definitely
that's one thing I noticed. I'm like, it is a proper sausage fest over there. Like, I think
it's like a frat
but
house. Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, that might be kind of cool to do down the line. If someone steals that idea from me, then it's like it wasn't meant to be for me. But I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think
Yeah.
there's definitely a gap for you to fill. But also just going
Mhm.
back before we even move on, like I feel like skills can definitely get you so far in the short term,
Mhm.
but then over long term is like the inner work that you would have to do
Mhm.
because you can learn how to say all the right things. But then you get to that moment where you go through some challenges, you start doubting yourself, you start negative thinking patterns, don't believe in yourself, no self-confidence, then like it's all going to play out over the long term.
Mm, absolutely. And that's the stuff that lasts. That lasts like even when you're not closing anymore. It's like that's the stuff that's
Yeah.
going to help you become a better leader, a better CEO, a better whatever the heck the next thing is. Like it's dope. Like I love it, love it, love it. I love it so much. I'm obsessed. This is why I'm obsessed with sales. It's not even just about like the sales specifically. It's about the transformation that's possible
Yeah.
within this. It's like a sport. It's just a vehicle, you know?
100%. Yeah. And another interesting concept that I've learned too was like there's such thing as situational confidence.
Mm,
And there's situational confidence is like we've been in sales for so long and because we have so many reps, talk to like thousands of people, we're like in this specific domain, we're very, very confident. But then there's people who've done so much inner work, they have core confidence. And so the difference between situational and core is like anything that you do now like you're really freaking good at
mm,
and you believe in yourself so much in any domain that you're in, right?
yeah.
If you're a guy and like if it's sales, if it's marketing, if it's a business, if it's approaching women, if you're a guy, like anything that you do you're very confident in, and like that's core confidence.
That is so true. Okay. I gotta give an example here that because I've experienced this very recently. Okay. An example of that is I had situational confidence in sales, like selling coaching.
Yeah.
But then I decided I wanted to challenge myself and shift and go into a different niche, to talk to real estate agents, which scared the crap out of me because like they're like not even human. No offense. Um, and then I was not confident at all in the beginning. Like I was just I was like, why can't I close anything? Like what is wrong with me? But then I started doing deep work and then I developed my core confidence and
Yeah.
now it's like easy stuff again. And I can't believe it's literally only because I did the deep work to get that core confidence.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Like it's in you. Situational confidence is more external. It's like because you've done it so many times in this
Yeah.
domain, you're good.
Hmm.
Core confidence is like you've done so much inner work. It's like anything that you do, you feel like you can do anything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and that's how I feel right now, which is like I mean, I'm sure if you throw me into an arena that I'm not like comfortable with, I'm gonna like struggle. But for a little bit,
Yeah.
for a very short time.
Yeah.
And then yeah. Every week I or my guest challenges the listeners to do something, something to move the needle to becoming the version of themselves that they want to be. So, as the guest of honor, what challenge can you propose for the listener?
Meditation and visualization. Um,
Mhm.
to spend at least spend 10 minutes. Very, very doable. Actually, we'll make it 15 minutes. 15 minutes every single day. Instead of scrolling on your phone, start imagining. Instead of being a consumer, start being a creator. Like create these ideas in your head. Create these visuals that manifest law of attraction. See yourself in the successful positions that you want to be. If that's in sales, if that's in any other aspects of your life, but just see yourself, handling that objection. Visualize even like how you talk, how you walked, how you act, how you sit up straight. Are you standing up straight? Is your chest out or is your shoulders rounded back? Just visualizing that 2.0 version of yourself, because we all want more, but in order for us to achieve more, who do we need to be so that we can have more?
Hmm. That's what it's all about. That's a really awesome challenge. I'm going to take you up on it today because I've been putting off like really sitting down and like visualizing and doing my mental vision board. So I'm going to do
Yeah,
it.
100%.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope everyone takes you up on that as well because I think it's going to be a game changer for sure. It's like one of those little things that's like people overlook it.
100%. Yeah, and it realigns you too back. It's like what I said, it's like going to the mental gym. Because like don't get me wrong, sometimes like confidence sometimes it comes and goes. One week for 1 month or 2 months, you might feel like, you're the shit and nothing can stop you. And then just some things like stack up, like this happened, this happened, this happened, your confidence can start depleting. And really the goal is just to be able to level that out and have that high self-esteem, which is relaxed certainty in yourself.
Mm, okay, yeah. And it's so true. Like, and we don't notice when our confidence has depleted until we're at the lowest point. And then we're like, maybe there is something going on here. And then we look back and we're like, oh shit. Like, I know that's the case for me. Maybe I should just speak for myself, but I usually don't realize until I'm at the lowest point and I have a breakdown and I'm like, oh, I've been slacking on like the personal work, the inner stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Good stuff, Kenneth. Thank you so much for sharing your gems with the audience. I appreciate you coming on here. This was awesome. Thank you.
I really appreciate it too, and just being able to share and give back the golden nuggets, the gems. Like it's something that I always wanted to do. That's why I started the YouTube channel and everything too,
Hmm.
like just to give back, so then people can take that and get to the next level.
Yeah, so share your channel, share where they can find you, where they can connect with you, let them know.
Yeah. So for more content, like more reels and shorts and clips, the real Kenneth Luu, you can find me on Instagram there, or you can my YouTube channel, Kenneth Luu, on YouTube, where I post more so like long form content, just with anything that I learned that I really want to share that I think is really, really valuable. As soon as I learn, I just like to share and be able to spread the gems.
Awesome. Awesome. And of course, I will link all of that in the description so it's easy to find you. That being said, thanks so much, guys, for watching. As always, don't forget to hold yourself to a higher degree so you can be the most effective leader you can be. Until next time, bye, guys.